Microcasting for your city. Talkapolis.
Bandwidth for today's show is brought to you by SoftLayer.com. We love SoftLayer here at Talkapolis. They are the greatest hosting company ever. They make everything easy. Check out their website at SoftLayer.com. Thanks again for sponsoring the show. Also by Nashville Violins, the string player's #1 choice for their string instrument needs. Nashville Violins offers everything from lessons to repairs. Make sure you check them out at NashvilleViolin.com.
You're watching Music Business Week. Our guest, Carter Little. Hi everybody, Greta Gaines here at Talkapolis. Our guest today, so exciting, Carter Little, sound supervisor, music supervisor, extraordinary, Nashvilleian. What's going on, Carter?
Well, it's great to be here, Greta.
I know.
Thanks for having me.
Again.
And what's going on right now? I am working on a few different projects, one of which is for PBS, another one which is for Universal Pictures, and doing my music supervision thing. So
Right, so I knew you first as a musician. You're
Right.
and put out albums and everything.
Oh God.
I know, because you've been in Nashville
long
at least
ago.
20 years, right?
Oh, maybe 12.
Oh,
yeah.
12,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
Just seems like 20.
Jeez.
Oh, that's maybe that's me. I've been there 20. Hey, did I get the squeaky chair? What's up with that?
Hey,
All right.
who put the whoopee cushion?
35 Sound.
Yes.
You also work out of Los Angeles. You travel a lot.
Yes.
Tell the kids and the grown-ups at home what's involved in the day-to-day of being a music supervisor in Nashville.
Yeah, so 35 Sound is a music supervision company that I'm partner with a gentleman by the name of G. Mark Roswell, who did such great movies as Wild at Heart, with the great Chris Isaak song, and also The Commitment, and Denzel Washington's The Hurricane, among many others. So we partnered up, we're a music supervision firm. We work with producers and directors to bring their musical vision to life for their project, whether it's a film or a TV series or a video game or an ad. And so it's part creative, part administrative, legal,
Yeah.
some.
And this was kind of a natural transition for you from the music. And how does having been a professional musician still come into play? Does it help?
Well, before I came to Nashville and did the artist songwriter thing, I had been working in New York for a documentary film company, and then subsequently for a film composer and arranger. And so I really just kind of fell in love with the marriage of music and picture. And so when I came down here, this was certainly a departure for me, but I would say that, you know, all of my experiences as a musician, you know, whether performing or being in the studio, has prepared me for this, and it's really fun. I still get to be creative and work with composers, and I also still write myself, but I don't have to be
You
on
must
stage.
get bombarded, like with people who find out what you do. Like myself included, I've actually done this. Carter, you do music? Get my thing in a movie. Get my thing in a commercial.
I want to so badly.
I know, no, but like, can you process that stuff? And what's the protocol for people out there who really would love for you to listen to their stuff and consider it?
You know, I think that anybody is willing to listen to anything if the approach is right. I think, you know, we've talked about this. If, you know, you're going to go unsolicited and knock on someone's door, then you should have a really good, like, song and dance that's like that song and dance that person wants to hear. And so, you know, it's interesting. This morning I got an email from somebody. It's the first time we've gotten an unsolicited email in months that I've kind of responded, and it's because they said, you know, we went to your website and we watched the trailer for this documentary and for this film and for this TV series. We love your work. We have some music that we think you might be interested in. And I think that's all it takes on an unsolicited level, is for people to do their research. You know, International Movie Database, IMDb, is a great resource. And then just searching online and finding what people are interested in. And then that gives you a much better chance, I think, of getting
Do you
called back.
ever play songs that you don't personally like, but that you know are right for the film? Or
All
the
the time,
project?
yeah, because I think that, like, that's just part of what we do. We're there as a, you know this in working in television. You know, television and film is very cooperative, collaborative. So I think that there's often times where we get to have the joy of picking something and placing something, but there's many times where, not only is it what we, didn't think was the best choice, but ends up being the best choice.
Yeah.
So it's like,
But there's the perception these days. I call this I understand why a movie like The Hunger Games is sort of popular, like this lottery society. There is this sense, if I could just get that one cut in that one commercial, that's going to do it for me. Is that true?
Yes and no. I guess like a lottery ticket. I mean, if you get it, you're golden. But I think that, and we've talked about this before too, is that there's been kind of a romanticization of sync. And that people see it as a way to make money. And I think that what's happened is as sync has grown with the growth of media across all platforms, that artists see it as a silver bullet and something that will just kind of like solve their revenue issues. And what I would say is that like the way that you get syncs is work with filmmakers. Young filmmakers and music editors, those are great people to get your music to because they're the ones who are cutting all the music into the film and it gets stuck in there. Something called temp love, where the director, everyone just gets married to a piece of music. I just think it's important not to rely on that being like, oh, I'm going to make all this money doing sync, because the reality is that like every placement is so unique.
Yeah.
How
do you guys get paid?
In donkeys.
Hence the donkey farm you're running
Bushels
now.
of corn, haystacks, sometimes it depends on the season. But how do we get paid? We get contracted by the production company.
Okay.
Yeah, so
do people ever ask you to do stuff for free and take stuff on the back end?
Yeah, that happens sometimes. I think that's part of, hopefully you get to a place in your career where you can, kind of move on from that. But there's always situations, right, where if you have the opportunity to work on something that you love and they can't pay you, that there are ways to creatively do your deal.
Well, speaking of things that you love, you're working on a phenomenal project right now called Half the Sky, which is just based on a really important book. If you guys haven't read it, you should. But tell us about how that process worked out for vetting the different artists and what the program is and how people in Nashville can get involved.
So Half the Sky is a book written by Nick Kristof, the New York Times columnist, and his wife, Cheryl Wu Dunn. They're both Pulitzer Prize winning authors, which is just like mind-blowing.
Yeah, that they're a team.
Yeah, that they're a team. It's like if the child isn't Pulitzer Prize winning, what's going to
But I think this book was. They created a Pulitzer Prize winning baby.
It was a best-selling book, and it profiles the what they say is the biggest issue of the 21st century challenge, which is the oppression, ending the oppression of women and girls.
It is.
Around the world, it's major. And so the book has now spawned a TV series, a documentary TV series on PBS that will premiere in 5 days, October 1st and 2nd. So please tune in October 1st and 2nd. And so along with our normal duties of helping to produce the score and licensing music for the television series, we put together a soundtrack for the series, and it's a flash soundtrack. It exists over 30 days, and we got 30 women, emerging and legacy artists from all over the world, to donate one song for 24 hours to the cause.
It is. If you can see the website, they write these very personal explorations of why they picked this song, why this is important to them, and it does give you this we are standing together and we can make a change feeling.
Exactly. So all the songs are in the context of the cause and the struggle. They relate to women's issues and women's rights, and songs of inspiration. And the artists who have been featured include, Corinne Bailey Rae and A Fine Frenzy, Sheryl Crow, Bonnie Raitt, Nora Jones. Today actually is Angelique Kidjo.
Oh, she's amazing.
And Alicia Keys donated
fabulous.
a song, which is
that's
awesome.
Huge.
It's huge. Yeah, what I found is that, if you work on projects that you love, they kind of sell themselves. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with this book, but so many of these women had read the book. Right. And so when I approached them about it, they felt such a visceral connection to the story.
If you can make art and contribute something and change the world at the same time, that's pretty heavy. But not every gig is like that. You're working on a movie that's coming out now that I think could be commercially huge.
Yeah, it's really different. Shifting gears, this is a picture for Universal Studios. It's Quentin Tarantino presents RZA's The Man with the Iron Fists.
No, we got to see this movie. I mean, this is gonna have martial arts. It's gonna have a killer soundtrack. We know that already, and I know that you told me earlier RZA had a hand in that, and that's one of those examples of a collaborative process. Like, how did that work in getting him what he needed?
Well, first of all, this is RZA's movie, and this is the culmination of, you know, his entire career in some ways, because he grew up watching kung fu films.
Unbelievable.
And the Wu-Tang Clan obviously drew on that genre as a source of inspiration. And so he co-wrote with Eli Roth, and then he directed, and he starred in, and he wrote the music. So this is really his movie, and it stars Russell Crowe and Lucy Liu, Pam Grier, Danny Bautista, who's a big UFC guy.
Fighting guy. Yeah,
so it's crazy kung fu sequences, 19th century China. It's Kanye West, Wiz Khalifa, Black Keys.
Because that could be a huge soundtrack for you guys.
It could be, yeah. I mean, who knows? Yeah. But I know this. The music is really great.
Yeah.
And Soul Temple Records, who's putting out the record October 23rd. And the movie, by the way, comes out November 2nd. They did a great job. And RZA's brilliant.
And you told me they even went back and did some classic. You worked with some classic soul sounds too, right?
Yeah, so they sampled material from the Stax vault, which was really, really cool, and repurposed some of that. We did a partnership with Stax, Concord, where RZA could repurpose those multi-tracks and the score, which is really fun. So it's a hodgepodge of like Ennio Morricone and old Shaw Brothers kung fu, hip hop, R&B, rock. It's wild.
It just, every day must be different at work. It must be really fun if you love music to just be like, what am I, you know?
It is. Some days are like it's so high and so low, and it's so fun, and there's never really a dull day.
Right.
But yeah, it's like there's some days there's a lot of responsibilities, making sure everything's cool, and clear, and everyone's happy. Right. But I feel so blessed to be able to do something that I love, and I'm glad to live in Nashville, you know, where there aren't a lot of people doing this, and I'm a big believer in the local community and the music community. Haven't been here for a while like yourself, and so please find me or say hi if you see me.
It's Carter Little.
Carter Little, yeah.
CarterLittle.com.
Yeah.
CarterLittle.com.
No, 35sound.
35sound.com.
35sound.com.
But also moving forward, like some people watching out there, if you write to us and ask some questions, your biggest music supervisor questions ever, maybe we'll be lucky enough to have Carter back on the show and give us some more inside knowledge, because I know it's something that all musicians are thinking about on some level.
Yeah, and I think it's a fun exercise, you know. I would say instead of shooting your music out into the world, give it some purpose and have some kind of sync in mind. Like, what scene would this work well for? Like, why are you pitching this? Because I don't think that just sending it out there and saying find a spot for it works.
Yeah,
you know?
Just listen to these 24 tracks and find one that you like.
Right. I mean, I wish it were that easy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like I said to you, I always try to, I think it's just part of, you naturally gravitate towards people that you love and music that you know, but you'll try to find a placement for like your cousin or one of your best friends, and it's like you just can't find that spot. But people do have success when they have been writing for picture and they're interested in it and they're cultivating that craft. So there's a lot of opportunities out there.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, everybody check out Half the Sky.
Please, Half the Sky, Man with the Iron Fist.
Man with the Iron
Talkapolis.
Fist. Talkapolis. Carter Little. Thank you. You've been watching Music Business Week. Take care. Microcasting for your city. Talkapolis.